What's up and welcome to Idle Insights, a show where each week I, Treavor Bettis, talk to interesting people about idle champions and Dungeons and Dragons. And joining me this week is returning guest Noura Ibrahim. Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
It's been a minute.
It has.
Oh. It's last time was the last Idle Insights.
The biggest Idle Insights that I have done with
Yes.
what was that 6-7 people in that group call?
Good times, fun had by all.
Yeah, it was fun. That was we were talking before the show about the flexing the host skills. That was definitely one of those like, okay, I think I can do this.
Oh no, you're awesome as always, and it's I miss our when we were recording Black Dice the preliminary and absolutely mandatory hello Trevor at the beginning of our recording.
I don't know if I've actually said this to any of y'all, but like the last episode where you all did that, I genuinely went, oh no, that's the last time I'm gonna hear that. And I got genuinely sad about it because like that was like a nice little Saturday morning thing.
That was our ritual. But I've been well. I'm glad the summer's kicking off. I came back from hosting GameCon Canada. Speaking of hosting, I've got some shows that are out, some shows that have just wrapped up, and some shows coming up, but I can't talk about those yet because they have not been announced. But
Well, in case there's folks in the chat who don't know who you are, why don't you tell them who those fine folks who you are, and as well as where you can watch these wonderful things.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm a nerd. I play games. Hi. We should be friends. I'm a nerd who plays games online with fun people, and I've been doing this for 6 years now. I do not have my own, I don't broadcast whatever on my own individual channels. I I've been fortunate enough to work with some very lovely people over the years. So I stream a lot with the Glass Cannon Network. Recently with AC Inc., Penny Arcade. A lot of you might have seen a show called Faster Purple Worm Kill that Beetle and Grimm's has produced that's on Amazon Freevee and Plex. I am in 3 episodes of that, and was also I worked in the pre-production as a gameplay coordinator.
And everyone, it's okay. There's no one being hurt in the background. That is just the call of Sasha's people or Seja's people.
And if you're new, let me introduce you because she appears in everything.
She does. She's even in Idle Champions.
She's even in Idle Champions.
Look at the baby.
This is Seja. She's my baby.
Yeah.
She's a good baby, and she's very vocal. And she actually does. She has it in the familiars pack for Idle Champions, so you could have Seja on your screens.
Yeah.
I was on a D&D show called Black Dice Society. Which this is the character that we are presenting is the character that I play. Her name's Nahara. And you can find me on all things. My handle is @Neurological. And that's where you find me promoting my stuff.
Well, I liked how earlier you're just like, I don't have my own channel. I've just been lucky to be on other things. I'm like, yeah, you're the talent. Like that's the awesome thing is you have the skills and the abilities, and people bring you on.
Yeah, it's fun. I love all of this collaborative work that I've been able to do. The plus side of not having, sticking to your own channel is that, I get to go make friends and be part of really fun projects.
Heck yeah. Well, Noura, I realized I didn't give you a heads up about this one before we started recording, but I do the icebreaker question at the beginning of these just to get to talk about D&D and stuff like that. But I've asked you who your first character was, and I believe I asked you how'd you get into D&D and who your first character was. So this time I'm going to ask, tell me about the first time you DM'd.
Fun fact, I have not.
Really?
So, yeah, my schedule is nuts. The only things I won't I do a DM light if it's like certain kind of board games have those kind of things, and I'll do that. But as far as, here's the thing. Here's 2 of the main reasons why I have not ventured down that route. One, my schedule is just insane, and it is a lot of prep work. So shout out to all of you GMs. You're doing the gods' works, and it's a lot of prep work. The second being that every DM tells me that once you start DMing, you are the forever DM and you never get to just relax and be a player and play. And I am definitely afraid of that. I have not plunged down that route. I want to run more like just private games. But I'm always like, next month's going to be the month, and it's schedule never permits.
That's fair. I mean, well, the scheduling and the busyness of life are the greatest foes to any D&D game. But no, the reason I had that on there and didn't even think about asking before is because I genuinely had thought that you had DM'd on some streams before. I don't know why I thought. Well, honestly, I'm gonna be real with you, Noura. You give off a DM vibe. I'm gonna be honest. So that seemed like something that you had done. And honestly, I know people have kind of scared you off of that. I do highly encourage it. I know they're like, oh, you become the forever DM. That is circumstantial. I genuinely feel like that is one of those things where it's like, well, yeah, if you're in a group where no one wants to DM and they're like, oh, you'll DM this one, that's when you're the forever one, because they got you once. They're just gonna shoehorn you there for the rest of the time.
Yeah. But yeah, if I do, I definitely want to run Curse of Strahd.
Oh yes! Oh my God! You would kill it with Curse of Strahd.
I live in lots of D&D related.
I could just imagine, because if that is a home game and stuff, they just come over to your place and you're just in full get up and you're just behind the screen you've arrived.
Yeah. You know what I would do? I would DM as Madame Ava.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the players sit down. Nobody steal this idea. Sorry, you have to beat that one out. Nobody steal this idea because I'm doing it. Yeah, I'm going to DM as Madame Ava that when the players first come in before anything, they're getting a Taroka deck reading. I'm going all out. Yeah, and I think I'm going to DM as Madame Ava.
That's really cool. I like that. You have a little crystal ball in front of the DM screen. Yeah,
I have one, right? Yeah.
Oh,
I have everything.
I assumed you did. Oh wait, no, I knew you did because of some of the videos you've done. Because you had the crystal ball there.
Yes. As many of people who watched Black Dice Society, my character, who is she was a warlock, but also took a few levels of College of the Spirit Bard. And when I did that, it was intentionally because when you do College of the Spirit Bard, at a certain, you have access to a Taroka decks, and you can do seances at certain levels and do all this cool witchy shit that I'm going to stop swearing. Sorry.
It's okay.
You get to do really fun spooky girl stuff. So I started doing these, Taroka deck polls as my character on show, but it was every single, and B. Dave Walters will attest to this, every single poll, and also Mark Meir, because he was in on a lot of every single Taroka deck poll was accurate, spookily accurate. And I miss doing that so much because it's been a while since we played Black Dice, since that show ended. So I started doing that in our Time for Chaos show. Even though it's a Call of Cthulhu, I will do just a normal tarot deck reading at the top of the show, and it's also big right every single time. And everybody, you know what? I know. I already know the B. Dave thing is burn the deck. I will never burn the deck. We'll never burn the deck. I refuse to. So, but it's been a fun part of both Nahara and now some other, just my gameplay in general.
I remember one night B. Dave and I were recording our podcast later the night after a Black Dice Society had streamed, and he gets in the call, and the first thing, we're gonna have to burn that deck. I swear we're gonna have to burn that deck.
I refuse.
All right, so you know, we've had a lot of people join the game for the first time recently for for several reasons, and so they might be in the chat not knowing who your characters. Who is Nahara?
Nahara is a reborn, fallen Azamar, undead warlock with a few levels of College of the Spirit Bard, and it took me months and months and months and months and months to introduce that correctly witut flubbing.
I remember, I think the first time you got it right, I remember hearing you just kind of softly go, I got it.
Flawless victory.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a mouthful. So it was amazing like kismet of the whole creation of her character, because this was before or right about when the classes like Reborn and the vampire. Like,
I have
Vampire.
I literally have the book sitting right next to me.
Yeah, Vampire and Reborn and a couple of things were
Hex
right
Blood,
about
that's the one.
Hex Blood.
Yeah.
So a lot of the show was kind of like launching at the same time that these new things were coming out, but we didn't have access to any of the resource materials yet. So as I'm trying to come up with like this character, I'm like sitting there. I remember it was in my kitchen, and I had this idea of like, what if, we just see this character fall to the earth. She has wings. She knows her name, but she has no memory. And I'm usually somebody who has like pages and pages and pages and pages of backstory before even I stopped doing them for one shots because I've learned my lesson. But I'm that person. So this took a lot of trust. I was like, hey, B Dave, I want you to, I want to unravel her backstory to her, and I don't want to know anything about it because I want the reaction to be in real time.
Yeah.
So he's like, I got you, fam. Guess what? There's this thing called Reborn. and so it made perfect sense because I wanted her to have also like lived many, many lives. So it wasn't just that like she died and come back. So she's lived constant lives, which is great for things like Idle Champions when you have all these skins, because she does canonically, like when we go from from Barovia to the Feywilds, like her appearance changes, and depending on the location, like she does change a little bit because she has lived a life at some place at some point in time. So that was kind of that was it, and the rest I put in complete trust in B Dave and Mark as well, being my as Azalon Rex being my warlock patron. Was just an amazing for as an actor, like to have that sort of thing, that trust process, and to have like the in-time live reactions has created some of my most memorable to me role play moments.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess that is actually a good point to bring up, because that's why we're doing this episode, is that Nahara got a new skin recently, the Infiltrator Nahara skin, which I'm sure Lauren is showing off. Probably Mike was asking me, which is fine.
Is it on the screen?
It's probably over me, which is fine. But oh yeah.
Can I point out a fun feature?
Yeah.
In this thing, as I hope as it's next to me somewhere. So she's got this little, it looks like some thigh holster thing for like a weapon, but if you look closely and you look at the shape, it's for her Taroga deck.
Oh, I love that.
I'm like, she needs to have it still on her at all times. I want a tactical thing, but she still has a Taroga deck pocket.
I love the idea, because like it was the Infiltrator, this is the Spy Master set we got going on. Nahara like in a vent, looking through the vent at like the bad guy henchman down there, and she's just like, all right, let's see how I'm gonna get rid of them.
exactly. Look, let me just see here.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that guy's not gonna have a good time. Yeah, I like that though. Of the idea of like these are the skins that we've got are the other lives of Nahara. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I love it. It's worked out so beautifully. Like, and it's yeah. I wanted her to pay homage to like a bunch of like heist spy movies. Like she's got like the leather suit, whatever. I was like, but I remember in the meeting being like, but can we make it D&D? Like, can we make it a little Ren Fairy, but still,
Yeah,
still homage to like.
I got to design one of these infiltrator skins for one of the champions, and I'm surprised with what they let me get away with. So I was like, this isn't really D&D, but she's from Spelljammer, so like.
I do love and appreciate the flexibility in which we are able to express our characters here, because I will say with one of the things that changes given her geographical and whatever, like she has different wings pop up. So her OG form is she has these black feathered wings, and the very OG is like they'll have the articulated, you can see like the joints and the whatever, and like little claws on the top of her wings. But you know, she's in the Feywild. She had these like little pretty white wings. But for this round, they're like metal. And
oh, really? I didn't notice that.
They are metal, and if you look, the feathers are actually like blades that she can. Each feather's like a little blade she can launch at somebody. Non-canonically, like we know it's not, whatever, but we're having fun with it. So this was, and I'm like, girl's gotta have a high pony. Can't have your hair getting in the way when you're trying to escape.
It's true. Yeah. Also, apologies for my camera going the way it is, chat. I apparently misclicked and am now opening up Steam, which is completely just slowing down my computer. So I'm going to look like a robot for a second. So while I do that, why don't you tell folks about Black Dice Society and all the fun things there?
So Black Dice Society takes place. We did a Ravenloft campaign, so it wasn't just set in Barovia. We did do part of the Curse of Strahd campaign, but we did like all of Ravenloft, and went, and of course, like, you know, Ravenloft is more of a like reference point and jumping off point to whatever kind of, so it's not just like one set campaign. There are things in which you can incorporate into your own home game. Yeah. But it introduces some new class features, and also some like character background features. And it was nice getting to tell like a spooky story with, you know, people who really like appreciate that kind of setting. So Nahara, I don't know if I can give spoilers at this point.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's been a bit.
So one of the like big storylines for Nahara is Nahara, my character, and Mark Mear's character, and we didn't plan this, but our character, it started with like, because we're both so innocent, like cutesy, like very chaste people. It started off with like some very awkward, uncomfortable like flirting, and then a full relationship flourished, and the series ended in a wedding. So it was nice to have that full storyline with a character. I'm usually not fortunate enough to be able to have, these days with things will go one season or two season, and we know that that's it, and there's only so much character development that your character will go through, so you know, or what you'll even get to within a backstory. So it was really nice to see like a very well-rounded character come to life.
Yeah, no, that honestly, one of the reasons why like I do love how that show is as it is now is because like Well, when it comes to like animes and stuff like that, I'm like, I want one that I know I can finish. Like,
Yes.
don't get me wrong, I know at some point I'm gonna dive into the ocean that is One Piece.
I was right about to say, I'm like, I want to watch One Piece so bad. But
I know it's gonna happen at some point. I watched the live action one and I went, okay, crap, this is actually really wholesome and I kind of love it. And I bought 10 volumes of the manga, so I know the anime. I'm looking down the barrel of the anime.
Yeah.
But like, I love ones that are like, this has a beginning and an end, and you can see the whole thing, and these characters develop and everything like that. And Black Dice Society is one of those that I can recommend to people, because I'm like, this has a beginning, this has an end. There's incredible character. Yes, there's closure, but there's also just incredible character development. Like it's a really cool thing to get to see in a D&D group.
Yeah,
and it's not 4 billion episodes long.
it had weird love triangles. It had betrayal. It had like doppelgangers and
zombie nuggets. Yeah,
zombie nuggets. It was just a beautiful story, just through and through, beginning, middle, end. Like it wraps up nicely. So if you are looking for a story that you could finish, and you'll have emotional closure on, even though I'll put a big asterisk next to that, you might suffer some emotional damage at the end. But yeah, highly recommend. It was one of the most fulfilling projects that I worked on.
Heck yeah. And you and Mark got to reunite with B-Dave. God, was it last year? Was that when Fate Breaker was? I think that was last year. What is time?
What is, I don't know. It's, yeah. But yeah, that was our first canonical look at their like post-marital life, what that looks like, and how complicated that is, because things happened at the end. Yeah. Between Azalin and Mark's character. I want to know what's Strahd doing now. Like now, what's he up to? What's he doing?
He's getting a manicure. He's redecorating Ravenloft probably.
Yeah. I am the land. We get it.
I am the land, but I am also the curtains, the sofa, the end table. I had Todd Stashwick on here a while ago, and we got to talk about him being Van Richten, showing up on the show and stuff like that.
He was a great Van Richten.
Oh god, yeah, and Jason Carl being Strahd, and the two of them play across each other. Chef's kiss.
Is there any more on branding?
I told B-Dave later, I'm like, honest to God, if you hadn't gotten Jason, I probably would have been mad. Like, that's how perfect it is.
Man.
Oh man, yeah, good stuff. But yeah, the Fate Breaker happened, and that was another thing you can see on the Isle Champions channel. But watch Black Dice first. But the thing about that is that like you and Mark kind of got left off with like, oh well, you don't have to go back to the Dread domains yet. Like I wanted to know, like, do you have like a little headcanon at all of like what Nahara and Uriah are up to, or what they went and did?
They went on a goddamn vacation.
They needed it. They deserved it.
Yes. They needed a honeymoon.
Yes.
So,
yes. Yeah. They had all the multiverse to choose from, too.
Yes. So, I don't know. The one that we're least likely going to be attacked in.
Oh, God. Does that exist in D&D?
I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. Now think about it. Yeah, there is a lot of just stabbing going on those planes.
Yeah, never a moment's rest. So I'd say yes. They wherever in the Forgotten Realms where there is an all-inclusive spa resort, that is where we went.
Nora, do you want to know why I'm a terrible person as a DM?
Tell me.
My party joked for the longest time about wanting a beach episode. And so I started up a session once and gave them the beach episode, and they were at like a resort because they were out in wild space. So I'm like, this is just some planet where it's all resorts and stuff like that. It turned out they'd been abducted by mind flayers and they were in pods getting experimented on.
Oh no. Trevor.
I was like, well, you got the beach episode. You just didn't say what I could do with it.
I hate it, but I love it.
Well, the great thing is I had them Groundhog's Day it too. So like something happened at the end of the day, everything was a disaster, and then it reset and I made them roll to see if anyone remembered the day before. So then everyone else had to play like they didn't know what was happening before.
Oh my God.
It was a fun one.
Diabolical.
It's one of those just like careful what you ask for from your DM. You want a beach episode? Yeah. Okay. But you're getting abducted by mind flayers.
Oh no, I'm playing in a home game right now, and it's like my friend who's running this is just like notorious for like careful what you wish for.
Oh.
But we all know what we signed up for. So
yeah.
I'm having a great time.
It's like when you play with B-Dave, like you know what you signed up for.
You know what you signed up for. So yeah, there are times I will say, viewers, where that's not appropriate. But but I will say, amongst friends, and we knew what we were in for.
Yeah.
We knew what we signed up for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do remember the first time I counterspelled a mass heal and I said out loud, I've spent too much time around B-Dave Walters.
Facts.
So Noura, I wanted to ask, take this little section of the show to ask about how you go about making characters for these games that you're in. You know, you've played in a lot of different settings and different TTRPGs in general. Like, do you have kind of a go-to way of making a character, or do you find that it changes between each like project or show or even home game?
I wouldn't say that there is a set way. There's a process that I usually take. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I'll just be like, oh, I got a funny idea for there's a bit I want to do for this one shot.
I love a bit.
And I live for the bit. So like sometimes it's that. But for a long campaign, first I like to consider the setting. I also like to consider the type of program that because I work with different different groups, and some of them are a lot more comedic and relaxed, and we go in and out of character. Some you are in character the entire time. So I like to get a vibe for what the style of play that this group generally likes to do, and I like to know, so yeah, the level of seriousness and then the setting. Mm-hmm. And I just like to ask the GM, like, because B-Dave made it very clear in the beginning, like, we are telling a horror, like, this is a horror story. Like, this is going to be dark or darker than, not that there wouldn't be times of, wouldn't have funny moments, because naturally those are going to happen, but the overall vibe. And then once I have that, before a name, before a race or class or whatever, I like to think like, this person at their core, who are they? What kind of person are they? Like, how would they respond in this situation? How would they respond in that kind of situation? Just to kind of like get their personality down. And then I kind of like to go and see what fits into that. Like what helps, what race, what class, what background, or what class would facilitate this archetype of personality. Like, how would that fit in? Name is usually the very end, and if I'm doing a I'll make it something funny sounding. If it's like whatever, the name's usually at the end, and but I want to know who this person is at their core. Who are they, and how do they fit in within the group? Is another thing. But if it's like a one shot, I will do the silliest. Like it's whatever amuses, what I find amusing. Is generally what I will go for.
No, that is definitely the gift that one shots are. Where it's just like, this is not the character that I get to bring to a table all the time, but I'm going to bring it to this one right now.
Yeah, which is why like for Faster Purple Worm Kill, like I got so silly with it by the end. My characters got progressively sillier and like more obnoxious.
Well, that's perfect. I mean, when you're a level 1 character going up against like, CR20s and stuff.
When you know you're going to die at the end, because it's in like you knew what you signed up for, and this was an explicit like
Yep.
you are all going to die.
Yeah.
You have no chance. So yeah, when it's a one shot or even a 3-part, you know, it's the beauty of it is having a little more flexibility in that to kind of explore, you know, what kind of new thing you haven't tried yet that you're willing to try. That's a great time for it. But for longer things, I generally go in that first direction.
Do you find that, like, you know, kind of specifically for D&D on this, like, do you find that there is a class that you kind of naturally gravitate to? Because I can't tell you how many times, like, I've been thinking of a character, I'm like, oh yeah, no, they could be like this, and yeah, oh, and they do this, and then damn it, they're a bard.
Yeah, I mean, I love a warlock. I love the like, no, I don't want to study. But I don't want books to put spells in. No, just, you know, where do I sign my name in blood? Just give me cantrips.
I love the idea, because you're like, I don't want to study, and I'm like, well, when I ever thought about that, I just went and bought the Spark Notes, and I'm like, is Spark Notes a warlock patron?
You know, I think it's because I've been such a school nerd for so many years, so much schooling. But I'm like, I don't want to do it. Plus, I have some PTSD from, I think I played one of the very first things I played before I started streaming. Like, I played a wizard. Oh. And somebody did something so terrible to me during a game as a wizard that I traumatized me. You want to? Oh, did I? Okay.
I've never heard this.
So, I was playing a wizard, and basically we're about to go into this dungeon crawl, and everybody's, you know, before we even enter, there's some watery river, whatever, and oops, you drop your book and all the pages are scattered and wet and whatever, and like literally everybody is like going in, playing this game, playing D&D, and I'm spending the entire session trying to pick up and dry, and I'm like, you know what, I hate all of this. I'm not having fun in this session. I'm never playing a wizard again. I was traumatized. I haven't played a wizard since.
I am such a stationary nerd. I just realized I would never do that to anyone's character. like, because I would be the same. I would be the exact same. I'm like, I'm sorry, you did what to my spell book? No. Everyone stop. We are focusing on this.
And there was like just little microaggressions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this isn't nice or fun, and I'm not doing this anymore.
I'd be like, bro, I'm gonna throw your DM's guide in the water. What are you talking about? Ugh. Yeah, no, me gusta. No.
Yeah. Great spells though, some choice spells for your.
It's true. Yeah, hearing about the stuff that that they've been talking about for the next edition on the D&D YouTube channel, I'm just like, I might do a wizard.
Yeah, I think it's time.
It's funny though, because like warlock, if it's not a bard for me, it is a warlock. Like I tried it once and I'm like, I can't go back. I can't go back. Like the Dungeon Scholars game that I played in, they're like, oh, you're starting at level 17.
Sorry, could you say that again?
No, I can't, Siri.
No.
Calm down. They're like, you're starting at level 17. I went, I can finally play a warlock to the ability that I've wanted to for all this time. Oh my god.
I am a god.
Yeah, I made a Hexblade warlock with 4 levels of rogue, and
Hexblade's so much fun.
Just so much, and the sword was a dancing sword, so like I summoned it and just threw it off to go do stuff. Oh my god. Oh, it was so much fun.
There are, yeah, I would say there's always the advantages and disadvantages of playing a high versus a low level character, but that is when you get to that like a level 17 and you're a warlock and you get to go into those sweet destructive spells.
Yeah, you still only got like 3 spell slots, but they're gonna be cool spell slots.
But you know what? I feel like that's me in real life. Like I'll go like really hard on something and I'm like, yeah, you know, I need a nap.
Give me a sandwich. Can we just take like 5? Can we take like 5?
Can we just? I just want to get some coffee, and I'll be back. Yes.
Man, maybe that is why I do like warlock so much.
It resonates with me.
Yeah.
It resonates with me.
Yeah. No, I don't understand this wizard. Yeah, I've just got a bunch of knowledge, and if I don't have enough, I'll just make some up in the middle of the day. No, I don't understand that. That's not me. Oh boy. So okay. So your process of coming up with them and then doing class and then the name and stuff like that. Like, this is, I know this might sound like a weird one, but like I mentioned that character I had the dancing sword. That is one of my favorite magic items.
Oh my god.
Anything, and I can't tell you how many characters I make that I'm just like, oh man, it would be really cool if I had a dancing sword. Like, is there? Do you find that there's a magic item that like you gravitate to no matter what the character is?
I mean,
I understand if I'm weird with this. Like,
no. It's not weird at all. It's not weird at all. I generally tend, because I'm usually some sort of spellcaster, it's usually something to bump up my AC. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very utilitarian when there's lots of really cool, and you know what, I'm glad that you brought this up, because I've realized that I've never thought of it in the way that, because I've never had the opportunity to be like, what if I could have any magic item? Because I don't know. I don't know. They've always been like, what's gonna help me not die? And we'll take it from there.
Here's the thing, though, that I now understand why it's such a solid choice, because like I am usually like the person, I'm just like, oh well, I just want to do really cool things in combat. I want a weapon that, you know, lets me do, like, my sword flies and stuff like that. And then my DM recently in my home game gave me a ring of protection, and I saw that AC go up and went, oh, that is nice. Oh, I might not get hit as much now. Like, it finally hit me where I'm like, these are nice things to have. AC is good.
But I do love a creative combat moment. I played, I think this was it was in Gen Con last year, and I don't remember the name of the character. It was something ridiculous. But I gave her this accent. She talked like a Midwestern mom, and she was an artificer, and she wore some chainmail. And because I wanted it specifically because she was this old lady that loved. She was like your basic like craft mom. And so I would have her like tinker something, and then as an artificer, she could like whisper, do something funny with the thing and like store it. So she had like lots of little charms and trinkets, little accoutrement on her chainmail. And so in combat, she would, what am I doing? So in combat, she would,
I need to say, I genuinely feel like I got attacked there with just how quickly you switched that and how unprepared I was for that voice. Oh my God, that was incredible.
So I had you could create a smell. You can So I basically made I made something out of clay, whatever, but I put basically a stink bomb in it. So I threw it, because we were also very low level characters, so I had very limited options. So I basically just threw this thing. And whatever it didn't do damage, because I didn't roll very high enough, but it did land nearby. And I was like, well, I didn't cause any damage, but he does smell like egg farts now.
Hey, you know, that I think that's better than half damage. So that's great.
So I do love a creative combat moment.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't really do much damage.
I get that. I do. Okay, well, we'll switch it over from character design. You've mentioned like a bunch of projects that you're working on right now, but I wanted to bring up Acquisitions Incorporated Cyberpunk that you're on right now. Tell me about that. How was that and everything?
That was so much fun. We shot it in Seattle at their studio, and GM'd by Mike Pondsmith, the creator of Cyberpunk himself, which I'm so freaking I have pinch me moments, and that's one of them. Like I have been in not one, but two streamed games GM'd by Mike Pondsmith. And
oh, really?
We did Cyberpunk Red, that was on Realmsmith, and that's on YouTube, that he GM'd, and that has Jason Azevedo from Realmsmith, and also has Matthew Lillard. It's just a great cast. And then to come back and be in another game, and I mentioned this first game because the character I played in that game, Nox, she is now in this Cyberpunk Red game for ACK Inc., she plays her daughter.
Oh.
So I'm like playing this Nepo baby. That's her. And so in the first one, her and Matthew Lillard's character, serial killer from obviously from Hack the Planet. Those two had it was a very comedic will they or won't they situation, and it was never addressed after it was done. Like we never figure out where that went, and then cut to this show, and it's like this is our child.
Oh my god!
And she's also a rocker boy, but far less successful. It was a blast. One of my favorite things, and I told you I love a bit.
Yeah. And so do they.
So we are a band. I was the bassist in the band. Jerry is like the band manager. Jasmine was like the roadie. So we are this traveling band that are playing these gigs, but we played a show, and then I guess our thing, for some reason, we changed our name in another episode. And so the bit was every time somebody says something like interesting, I'm like, oh, you know what? That would be a good band name. And I keep writing it down. By the end, I had like 4 pages. This was the bit. And it lasted throughout the entire series. There's the whole bit of like our different changing band names.
Yes.
Which I'll post at some point.
I love that because I make that joke like all the time. Where I'm just like, that's my new band name. Yeah. And so I love that is a bit that y'all had going in that was a canonical bit. That's the best kind of bit.
A canonical bit. I don't know if you were ever like a fan of the show Daria, but it reminded me of like how Mystic Spiral, like, but we're thinking of changing our name.
Oh man.
Trent's band character.
Yeah.
Trent's band. Yeah. And that was, I think that's what was going on in my head. And then I was like, oh, let's just do that. Let's just do this bit where we, it wasn't even just, and it was a very like organic moment. Yeah. And it just turned into this bit that like lasted throughout the entire filming.
That's so good. How many episodes is it?
I believe there's 6 episodes. Okay. They air on Wednesdays. A couple of episodes have already aired. Yeah. You can watch the VODs on YouTube, but there's still a few left. I think we're halfway through, but they air live Wednesdays at 4 p.m.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So like how, I know this is a D&D show and everything, but like how was Cyberpunk with that group? Cause like, we got Mike, Jerry and Jasmine, and, folks in the chat right now are probably going to know them from, the Acquisitions D&D game and everything like that. And I know at least Jim and Mike brought their characters over. Did Jasmine bring Certainty over, or did she make a new character?
She made a new character. Okay. From what okay. But I guess the biggest difference is that I feel like in a D&D game, you can kind of coerce or coax the GM into be like, hey, look, this is what I want to do. And you can kind of like get around, you can justify it, and maybe they'll be like rule of cool, whatever. Yeah. Cyberpunk is very like, can't really do that. But it didn't stop us from trying. So there was this one moment where, because I had like my character has subdermal armor. Mm-hmm. And there was one part where like I just get kicked in the crotch really hard by whoever this person that we're fighting. Yeah. And I'm like, listen here, Mike. I was like, I understand I'm taking damage. However, I would like to argue that subdermal armor, that would be the biggest area that you'd want to protect. You want to protect your crotch? Wouldn't that be like the most important thing you want to protect? And I'm like, listen, I know I would have to take I get it. I'm taking some.
Mike, you're telling me that in all this time you made this game, you never thought about it.
Subdermal armor. He's like, yeah, but it's in your crotch. I'm like, yeah, but wouldn't that be the first place? Anybody who plays sports will tell you like that's.
That's so good. Did he let you get away with it?
I can't remember.
Okay. Well, you gotta go watch the show and find out, chat. Yeah. You gotta go watch the show and find out.
I argued heavily for the defense on that.
Oh man, that's good stuff. Yeah, I've gotten to play Cyberpunk a few times. I played the original Cyberpunk once as well, and that one melted my brain. I was like,
Wow.
I'm not smart enough for this game. Yeah, that is definitely one of those. It like obviously like it is, you know, it's called like a crunchy game and stuff like that, but like it is crunchy because it's brutal, and it's brutal because it's fun. Like, yeah. Did you play the video game at all when it came out?
No, I've been meaning to, and I haven't. It's bad.
I gave it a shot again because I tried it when it first came out and it didn't click with me, and I tried it again last year and I was like, oh yeah, no, this is cool, and like I went out and bought the Cyberpunk Red rule book because like when I get into something, I don't half-ass getting into something, and so yeah, that it did surprise me though, because like the differences between the video game and the tabletop is that I was like, oh, I can mess around a little bit more in this video game, because like they had to make it a video game and stuff like that, and so like I when I first started it, I was like more scared of doing stuff because I'm like, no, that dude's just gonna shoot my head off. It's like, oh no, it's a video game, it's okay, I can be a little cool.
Can I tell you a fun Easter egg?
Yeah.
Video game. If you go to the Afterlife, the bar.
Yeah.
There, if you zoom in, there is a photo of my character Nox from Team Monster.
What?
Back there. Yep.
Oh,
it's
that's so
somewhere.
cool.
I posted it somewhere on my Instagram when it came out. But yeah, there is a.
You're
there is a
canonical.
photo.
You're canonical in there.
Yeah, she's canon.
That's so cool.
Also, I got to write. I got to write for Danger Gal Dossier, like and it's it's for Cyberpunk Red, and it's a book of playable NPCs that can either work for or for against your party, depending, like GM's choice, depending on your story. But I got to write in Team Monster from the first Cyberpunk show that we did with him.
Yeah.
As canonical characters. So
that's so cool.
Yeah.
I do love supplements like that. They're like, here's a fully fleshed out character and stuff like that you can put into your game. And in Cyberpunk, I feel like that is a very needed thing for how the variety of people that you can find in that world. You know, we got a little bit of time here before we wrap up. Tell me about Purple Worm Kill. Like we talked a bit about it there, but you know, how is that experience? You know, did any of your characters survive?
No, they were they made promises and they kept them.
Hey.
So we all died at the end. It was an amazing experience because we got to work with some like people I never thought. Like I did an episode with Seth Green and Freddie Wong, and it was just crazy. David Desmalchian and Steve Agee, I was in an episode with them. We had some amazing Patton Oswalt and Jonah Ray, and we had some amazing guests come on, and it was so much fun to play a very like chaotic version of, because it's basically like D&D mixed in with like Whose Line Is It Anyway, mixed in with like a little bit of like 70s game show vibes if you look at the set. It's for those who haven't seen it, the premise is it's a 1 hour, so it's very fast paced. It's a 1 hour comedy D&D show where 4 adventurers are level 1 adventurers, all of them are level 1, meet their doom at the end of the episode by an insanely high level monster. And chaos ensues. And there's like, it's very improv, so there's even audience participation in it. We had like a wheel of death.
Oh,
they just spin the wheel. Like it was so much fun, and I really just, if I could have a thing come true for career-wise for this year's, I would love to have another season of that.
Heck yeah. And the people at the table weren't just there was different DMs each time, right?
Yes, it was. So it's an ensemble cast. So every episode was different people, different groups of people. We had one episode that it was just like all Glass Cannon people that were GM and all the guests.
Oh, very cool.
But as far as the other ones, it was a lot. It was like a very mixed cast of that. But that one in particular, I remember being like an all Glass Cannon cast. But yeah, it was a ensemble group, and being the gameplay coordinator, my job was to sit down, because not everybody had varying levels of experience. Some haven't even played ever, so it was my job to sit down in meetings with them all before leading up to the show, with everybody, sit them down being like, this is D&D Beyond, this is what we're using, this is what we're using to play for the show. I'm going to help you build a character if you've never built a character before, and just kind of run them through the basic concept of this game, because one of the things I love about this game is that it is like, it's for everybody, and even if you haven't played ever but want to, like, that, you shouldn't be discouraged just because you don't have as much gaming experience. Or so it was nice to see different levels of gaming experience at one table and everybody having fun, and that was my job as the coordinator.
That's really cool. I mean, you're one of the best people I could think of to teach folks how to play the game, and like getting the levels kind of aligned on it. Like, you know, obviously not naming names, but like, was there like a good amount of people that came in that just hadn't played before?
I wouldn't say, obviously wouldn't be the majority. I think most people had some experience, but like, there were a lot of people who were like, yeah, I played, but like 20 years ago.
Oh yeah,
You know, and that was it. So it was nice. And then I was also surprised by, you know, some people who I've played that I didn't think, you know, played, but they're like, oh yeah, they were super into it. So it was nice getting to just kind of sit down, and it also just like a one-on-one being like, so what kind of like characters do you like to be? Some people you learn right away, like, some people are really fighty. Some people are like really just wanted to be like a bard. Some people, and it was nice to see, to sit down like one-on-one and figure out like what kind of characters make them happy.
That's so cool. I love that. Yeah, that sounds like an incredible experience, and definitely a show that everyone in chat, you should go check out. And I also hope gets a second season, because that sounds like a fantastic combination of things that I love.
I know so too. We'll be doing a live show of Faster Purple Worm at Gen Con. I wrote down all of my Gen Con schedule, but forgot that one. Let me see if I don't know, talk about something and I'll listen to you, and I'll see if I can pull it up real quick.
This is me that is vamping time, because I was going to go into the outro where I was going to ask Noura what it was going to be. So that's okay, because I just like talking and hearing myself talk. And chat, you like hearing me talk, right? Don't do that. Don't start typing those things. I know I forgot to mention that we weren't live today, but that doesn't mean that you should be typing anything into chat that's not nice to me right now.
Oh man, I cannot freaking find out where they're. Listen, go on the Gen Con schedule and look it up. But we'll be doing a live Faster Purple Worm Kill. And then if I will go into the rest of my, if we're.
Yeah. No, tell people where they can find you and awesome things you're working on.
All right. I can't talk about the things I'm working on yet.
That's fair.
But I can tell you about my Gen Con schedule. And Thursday the 1st, with Glass Cannon, we're doing Get in the Trunk live. And that's going to be at 12 p.m. Friday at 3 p.m., we're doing Call of Cthulhu live. And that's going to be with Glass Cannon. That's at 3 p.m. on Friday. And then at 8 p.m. not at Gen Con, but at the Athenaeum Theater in the same town in Indianapolis, we're doing a modern Call of Cthulhu live with Glass Cannon. And that is going to be the entire cast of Time for Chaos, plus Skid and Matthew, for those of you who are fans of the show. So it's going to be the first time any of the Time for Chaos cast was all together in person, because everything has been
online. Okay.
Because we live in two different coasts. And then Saturday at 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., myself, Mark Meir, and Paula Deming will be doing a Graveyards of Arkham meet and greet.
Ooh, very cool.
Yeah.
That's your Gen Con weekend. Any streams or anything people can find you at right now?
Streams, yes, for Cyberpunk Red with AC Inc. That's Wednesdays at 4, but you can see the VOD on YouTube. Let's see what else is currently. That's the one that's still currently running. I highly encourage you to watch Graveyards of Arkham.
Yeah.
If you have not already watched that, that's our Call of Cthulhu game that was written by Mark Mear's wife, Belinda Cornish, and Darren Ormandy.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
They wrote an amazing campaign that Mark Mear is the lore keeper for.
Yeah, last time I talked to him, he was over the moon about doing that show and so excited for it. So yeah. It's a good one.
And then you can watch Faster Purple Worm Kill Kill on Amazon Freevee and Plex on the Dungeons and Dragons channel. I am sorry for anybody who's not in the U.S. I think it's U.S. only. But I think they're trying to work on that. But that's not It's not my department.
Yeah.
I can't.
Do not write to Nora. That is not her thing.
Don't at me. Whatever. But highly recommend watching that. Great cast, very funny show. I was very proud to be a part of it.
Heck yeah. Well, Nora, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. But that is going to do it for this week's episode of Idle Insight. So until next week, take care of yourself.